everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kelly and Andy McKain.
Yeah, sometimes with each person, it's different, rehabilitation path, outside of what I do with RNU with Andy McPhee, that my mentor and coach, I'm also heavily active in the racing community. And when I was addicted, I was making some bad choices when I was attending NASCAR races at Phoenix Raceway. I mean, outside of the racetrack, I was making really bad choices, with the addiction. And I became somewhat of a pariah as well, with people I knew in that industry. And look what happens 10 years later in 2024. I get mentioned by the North Carolina Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Congratulations. Well done.
Yep. And that means that, you can rebuild trust. It just takes time, and it was just awesome, when I felt that, it just showed me that quitting that addiction was the thing that changed everything. And it looks like it changed everything for you.
It did, and things were going great, and and I'm sure you've had those times where you hit those trigger points, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go get a 2 liter of Dr. Pepper and get crazy. Um, for me, I was really doing great with my first response career. Things were going really, really well, and then unfortunately, my brother Jason, that I was talking about, the one that helped me so much in getting sober and getting my life back on track, we lost him tragically in an accident. And I think that was at that point I had been sober for like about 5.5, maybe 6 years, and that hit me really hard. That was probably the first time in a long time I had really, in my head I could totally justify going and having a drink. And the only thing that really kept me from that was my brother had gotten sober before his children were born. He has, at the time, his children were 6. They're twins. And they had never seen their father drink. So I just had to keep telling myself, they never saw their father drink. They're not going to see me drink. And that was the mindset I had to choose to go with. And that's how I got through that time.
That's amazing. You're doing it for your brother's kids to be a good example. And, because they're going to find out eventually, and also, prevent them from potentially getting into alcoholism. Is that right? Or,
Well, yeah, and they're about to turn 16, and I'm just so incredibly proud of everything they accomplished, because they and their mom, they had to get through a really rough time losing the husband, the dad, and all that. And they're doing great now, and they know about their dad, and they know about me, and they know the alcoholism's a thing, and they're very, very aware of it, and they ask questions on occasion. And I'm not going to sit and never tell them they can't ever have a drink. I don't know if they're alcoholics. My Jason and I's youngest brother, our youngest brother Adam, he's a total normal person. He can go have a couple of beers and be just fine. I can't have a couple of beers. If I have a beer, it's going to turn into 12. I'm confident in that. Um, so, you know, maybe as they get a little older and stuff, I'm sure we'll probably have some more talks about it. And I'm going to make sure they know what to be aware of. And if they ever do think it's a problem, I certainly hope they will call me. But yeah, no, I mean, I worry for them, but like I said, they're smart, wonderful people. They've got good heads on their shoulders. They're in a loving home. They know that they've got the support, but I think they know more than enough now that they're aware of it and they know what to be looking out for.
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.